Exclamation everybody, and welcome back to Sorcery, and we're picking up right where I left off, where we're going to head now to a fork in the road. The road splits around the base of a gigantic tree, but does not rejoin on the other side. The left path winds down into a valley, and the right rises up a slope towards the first thick forest of the hills. Look right. It's hard to see much further uphill. The forest is sudden and thick, and the path narrow. It may be hard going in that direction, but the hills will involve a lot of climbing eventually. You may get a decent view of the next leg of the top, next leg from the top of the ridge. Look left. You pause to consider the lower route. There is a river there, and the path follows the left bank. It is a safer route, secluded and protected, but the curve of the landscape would mean you are almost backtracking. You're about to make your choice when you hear a faint cry from somewhere close at hand. Look around. You look around, then finally up into the branches of the tree. A pair of wizened, calloused feet are dangling down over your head. About to drop on you, perhaps? Let's see. Throw something into the tree. Who's there? Or climb up. Let's say, who's there? Who's there? You call. The voice cries again, a little more boldly this time. Up here! Help! Help! I can't get down! It is the voice of a feeble, wiry old man. Stepping back a little, you can see him clearly, as thin as sticks and dressed in dirt rags. And very, 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 very hairy, apparently. Let's help him down. Swinging yourself onto the lowest branch of the tree, you reach up and grab the old man by the waist. He is as light as a leaf, and within a moment you have lifted him to the ground. Thanks for that, he remarks, brushing himself down and almost knocking himself over in the process. I was just starting to get a bit, perturbed, but I'm on the safe now. He seems remarkably confident, considering that the slightest stumble might break him into bits. What will you do now? What will you do now, you ask? Keep going for Adeland, he says. That's where I set off from, while back now. You wouldn't believe the story if I told you. Suffice to say, though, if I know my eyes from my eyes, you're heading out to Mampang, and you better be smarter than I was. And here. He presses a page into your hand. It is a page torn from a spellbook. This might be some use to you. I found this, just found it, mind, and don't go asking how. But it's no good for me anymore. All right, well, I will take it. You take the page and put it into your pack. The man falls quiet and squats down on the ground. With his jabbering done, you hear a buzzing sound from high up in a tree. A beehive. I don't know why I would climb up and investigate a beehive. I'm just going to leave and move on. You must move on. The light is fading already. As the old man dashes off downhill towards Kantapani at a terrific pace, you consider your options. All right. Well, let us take the high path. The high route seems the most secure. In a valley, you can be easily observed from above and led astray, but out in the hills, you can go whichever way you choose. Of course, when night falls, it may be cold and exposed up on the slopes, but no matter. This journey was never destined to be easy. The path winds upwards into the hills and into the cover of a wood. The afternoon sun glints through the trees and plays tricks on your eyes. Every so often you catch a glimpse of some strange-shaped animal or other watching you, only to find it is the silhouette of branches and leaves caught at an odd angle. After an hour's walk, you are starting to feel hungry. Let us stop and eat. You clamber to the top of a low stone dolmen, then sit and pull out the quantity of your cheese and bread and eat, while admiring the view down the hillside through a break in the trees. You feel better for your rest. Okay, time to move on. The climb continues, with the path twisting this way and that. The air grows cold and the sun flickers on the horizon, then sets, making it hard to see your way. But the moon is full, and when twilight is done, it will be bright once more. All right, Do I keep walking or make camp? I think perhaps we will make camp for the night. But to tire yourself out on the first day would be inauspicious. You settle down to make a camp for the night in a natural shelter provided by the roots of 3 gigantic intertwined trees. Your backpack will serve for a pillow and your cloak for a blanket. Before settling to sleep, you check through your pack. You have 3 rations left. Just settle down to sleep. You lay yourself out on the ground and are quickly asleep. The moon is full and high in the sky when you next open your eyes. You feel warm and more cozy than you did before, as if wrapped in a gigantic blanket. There is a pain in your leg. Ew, those are like bats or something. Slowly you realize what is happening. A giant bat has settled on your chest and is feeding on your leg. Kill the bats. You draw your sword slowly and carefully, hoping not to disturb the creature before you can run it through. But no such luck. It leaps back in alarm. Alright, let's defend. The bat's great wings buffet at your face, making it hard to see. You drop into a defensive crouch, covering your head as the bat dodges back, cutting with the hooks on its wingtips. The giant bat flaps its wings threateningly, clearly trying to frighten you. Alright, let's see if we can thrust at this thing. There we go. You wait for the creature's wide wings to open, and then you strike. You cleave the air with your sword. The giant bat tries to cover itself, but it's too slow. It tumbles backwards into a tree and a crash of branches. Now let's try that again. Cut. There we go. Another chance follows. Pushing off the tree behind you, thrust forward. The giant bat attempts to dodge behind a tree, but can't move fast enough. The bat is flying erratically now. The creature's eyes glow a fierce, maddening red. Alright, let's defend this time so I get some attack power back. You drop into a crouch. The giant bat comes at you furiously, but you push the blow away. It ruffles its sleek leathery wings intimidatingly. Alright, let's finish this thing off. An opening appears. Swinging up from a low crouch, you aim for the beast's heart. The bat falls to the ground, and the light in its eyes goes dark. 2 stamina lost. Strong swordplay. Very good. The bat dead, you toss its carcass back into the woods, and now, truly exhausted, you lie back. Sleep. Once again, the crown fills your dreams. Only now, instead of being hidden away in Mampang Fortress by the Archmage, you see it on the head of a burly villager from Cantapani. Anyone can wear the crown, he declares to you, but wearing the crown, you are no longer just anyone. And then he points a finger at you that seems to crackle with energy, and you find yourself drawn towards him, commanded to do his bidding. You are walking towards a crack in the ground. It seems sure to swallow you whole. You stumble at its edge, about to fall. And on to the next morning. The second day of your journey begins in the morning cool. Still halfway between sleeping and waking, you feel the presence of your spirit, the camel, close nearby. Its form has changed since you left Analand, just as you have changed, but still it walks beside you. In the temple, they taught you that a prayer to your spirit could heal disease, lift curses, even save you from certain death. But the spirits are not generous and decline to help often. You can ask for a spirit's aid using the pray button. Okay, walk on. You can feel yourself getting accustomed to the fetid air of these hills. We have now ascended several hundred feet and can expect to make excellent progress before the end of the day. As you crest the brow of the hill, you see something that makes you stop in your tracks. To your left is a clearing, and in the clearing are several poles planted firmly in the ground. And atop each pole is a head. Look at the heads or keep moving. Let's look at the heads. The heads are of all kinds and ages. Some are recently fixed while others have decayed, and some are nothing but skulls and hair. There are human heads, goblin heads, and 1 or 2 heads of creatures you do not recognize. All have sewn-up eyes and mouths. A large X painted on a rock nearby is obviously intended as a warning not to venture any further. But ahead, the road forks left and right, and you cannot be sure which path you are warned not to take. The right-hand path continues to climb, and the left-hand path winds down the side of the hill. Alright, so do I take the left path, or do I continue to climb? I'm going to say take the left path. Let's do that. You make your way down a steep wooded slope. After half an hour, you hear the gurgling of a stream, and then quite suddenly you emerge from the trees to the edge of a fast-flowing river. Fording would be impossible, but luckily, someone has built a bridge. Test it. The bridge is made from 2 stout ropes, with thinner strings hanging from them and boards tied to the strings. You test the ropes and notice that the left one feels weak. That doesn't mean the bridge is necessarily a trap, although it might be. But it does mean that if this bridge collapses, the left side will fall away first. Alright, well, nothing to do but cross it. You begin to make your way carefully across, but at the halfway mark the boards start to creak and come loose, and then one of the ropes holding the bridge up unlashes itself completely, and you are plunging into the water. Race for the other bank or try to fall well. I would say, race for the other bank or try to fall well. Yeah. Alright, well, let's try to race for the other bank. You make a break for the far bank, pounding across the boards as they tumble and plunge into the rapid water. At the last minute, the bridge dissolves, and you must jump. Jump left or jump right? Jump right. You leap right, but as the bridge breaks and twists, the boards rise up on that side and catch you in midair, winding you. You grab one of the ropes to help you slow your fall, and half scrambling, half tumbling, you are dumped into the water without too much injury. You splash through the water to the other side and come up dripping. You are in one piece, but your food is soaked through and ruined, and there is no turning back. Something moves in the bushes nearby. Great, I've lost all my rations. This is not going so well here. Investigate. Who's there? You demand, as you approach the bush, peering either side to spot if the figure tries to run. But when you get there, you find nothing. Beat the bushes. You beat the bush with your sword and find nothing, except for one thing, a hollow tube of bamboo, with touches of colored ink at one end that looks remarkably like a blowpipe. It is cracked and must have been discarded as worthless by its owner, but this might mean that whoever put the heads on those poles is nearby. You toss the pipe away, but you had best be on your guard. Alright, well, let us follow the path. As you descend, you pass a clearing which would make for a good place to rest, but without any more provisions you need to reach town as soon as possible. This place is too open, anyway. It isn't safe. You walk on through the long grass. Go through the field. You continue along the trail. The undergrowth around you gets thicker, with dense shrubs that snag at your legs as you pass. Suddenly there is a cracking sound beneath your feet. Branches or something else? Jump clear. You leap ahead just in time as a pitfall caves in beneath you. You look back to see a gaping hole which you would have fallen into. Let's keep on moving. You keep moving when your foot hits something else. There is the gentlest of clicks. Duck. You drop to your knees as 3 saplings snap upright in front of you. Each is fitted with sharpened stakes. You have but a moment to see they are red with dried blood before a middle spike connects directly with your neck. Your head will soon join the others on the posts you have just passed. Damn. What's my fate? Ah, my adventure is at an end. Oh, that was a hell of an end right there. So, yep, got my head put onto a stake. All right, let's review the map. So I can go back and replay, which is nice. So let us go back to that fork in the road here. And go back there. I think I can go back and rewind. Yep, let's rewind to that. Very good. And we'll just walk on there. And yeah, look at the heads. Review the map. Okay, very good. So, not going to take the left path this time. Let's go and climb. The climb continues up the next hill for several hours until you are not far from the top. Then the faint sound of bustling activity reaches you. Tramping feet, grunting voices, and the clanking of metal against rock. There is something ahead, hidden by the ancient trees that line these slopes. Do I follow the sound or keep to the path? I suppose, well, if I follow the sound, I'm probably going to run into orcs or something that has, let's keep to the path. You keep walking. Whatever is happening behind the tree line is best left to itself. Soon the path crests the hill and begins to lead downwards. Alright, by a bridge. You follow a path that leads sharply downhill into a narrow valley in which a stream runs. There is no path along the bank, but there is a bridge. Alright, well, let's try to cross it, I guess. Moving slowly and with one hand on your sword hilt, expecting the boards to give way at any moment, you inch across. The bridge holds and you reach the other bank quite safely. You now have a long walk ahead of you, along the ridge and through light covering of trees. Alright, well, wow, that's a long distance right there. Further on. I gotta do this. There we go. Right there. The path climbs up again up a low hill, covered over with thick bushes and shrubs that snag at your clothing. Halfway up, you hear a sound. Twigs breaking. Freeze. You freeze as a large creature the size of a bear emerges directly in front of you. It has black and white fur and a long, bushy tail that trails out behind. It growls menacingly. Prepare to attack. You will not be able to avoid a confrontation. The creature is a skunk bear, and when it raises its tail, it releases a nauseating odor. The smell that hangs around it is terrible. Alright, fight. You draw your sword. Okay. So let's defend for a moment. Ooh, that was a good shot. The creature has two main weapons, its long claws and its terrible smell. You drop around a tree and raise your sword, ready to defend yourself. At the last moment, the skunk bear charges. You brace yourself as it comes down. For a moment, it is close enough that the terrible smell that hovers around it fills your nostrils. You retch, almost staggering. It beats the air with its heavy tail. Alright, so let us do a thrust here. Go. You risk an attack. Rushing forward, you charge at the skunk bear. Just as it comes for you, you cut its attack down. The skunk bear emits a new terrible odor. The smell of fear, perhaps? Evidently afraid of you, it rears back, claws raised. Alright, so it's defending right now. So let's just do just a jab. There we go. Sidestepping, you slash out at the skunk bear, but it has read your intention and drops in a crouch. It bunches up its tail around itself. Alright, well, we can do one more of those, I think. Oh, nope. That was a bad one. The skunk bear charges and jumps, and you are spared by your reflexes. You dodge around a tree and cover your nose from the stench. It beats a nearby trunk with its tail. Pine needles rain around from above. Let's defend for a moment. Okay, yeah, our stamina not doing so great here. You can almost smell the creature growing in rage and duck quickly behind a tree. The skunk bear makes a nasty swipe with its claws, but you duck. You are slightly hurt, and the creature's stench seems to get into the wound and make it worse. You find yourself gasping for breath. The foul smell coming off the beast is the stench of the grave. It drops to all fours and roars. All right, well, we're gonna have to risk it here. Let's just go full on out. There we go. The smell is getting worse. Splashing through the mud, you race into the skunk bear. Then your sword finds a soft place in the skunk bear's body. The beast roars and tumbles to the ground, quite dead. Six stamina lost. Shameful. Yeah, that was a pretty bad battle for me. You wipe your sword clean. Let's drink the potion. You unstopper the blimberry potion and knock it quickly back. You feel a little better, and all traces of hunger are also gone. The path leads down through another valley and back up another hill. 2 hours pass. All right. Approach Kristantani. I'm not going to be able to pronounce that. Kristantani. Kristantani? The sun is now just past its zenith, and everywhere a dusty heat rises from the baked earth. You begin to think about where you will stay for the night. Another night sleeping out in the open would be best avoided. But then you see a small village set into the hill. Look at it. Smoke rises from the stacks. The houses are well set with stone at their bases and thatched roofs of grasses and thick leaves. There is, unusually, more than just one street running through the center of town, but it is as though this place, once rich, had had its heart scooped away. Litter surrounds the buildings, and on the edge of the village are rows and rows of empty, abandoned houses. You continue your slow trudge along the path. Let's enter the village. You walk into the village. Young hill dwellers pass you and stare at your strange clothes. Look at the people. Their own attire is rough by comparison to your gear. They wear their hair long, but piled up on their necks. Piled. These people are ghastly poor. The village is like a ghost town here on the knife edge of the backlands. Let's talk in and out. Well, do I rest at the inn? I could really use a rest at the inn, I think. So let us do that, because I don't know if I'll get to talk at the alehouse or not. The village is small enough that you find an inn simply by walking around. The woman who runs the place stands in the doorway with her arms folded. "Are you from a king?" she demands. No, I'm a mere traveler. The woman narrows her eyes at you. "This is a guest house, the best in Kristastani. Only guests stay, and any guest of mine knows it costs me 3 gold pieces to host a traveler overnight, and 2 to feed them. But it is all between friends." I need to eat first. "Food is just being served." The woman steps aside and you go inside and sit down. A few minutes later, her husband appears with a steaming pot of skunk bear stew. Awesome. As you eat, you can't help but remember the terrible smelling beast dead on the path, and the thought makes you gag. Still, you stomach the meal all the same and leave your coins on the table. "Do you want a room as well?" the woman asks. "Thank you." The woman shows you the way upstairs to a room. There are 3 other guests already staying and asleep, so you settle quickly. The bed is not clean, but it is comfortable, and after the long day and all its narrow escapes, you are grateful beyond measure for the rest. Your dreams are vivid once again. You are walking endlessly, the hills moving up and down under your feet like a rippling sea. Every step exhausts you, but no step moves you forwards. Meanwhile, a tall black creature strides towards you, wreathed in a foul-smelling smoke, and in the distance a deep voice is booming with laughter. The long, cruel fingers of one hand are curled around the metal frame of a crown, and with the other he beckons you forward, as if into a trap. And I beckon you guys forward to the end of the episode. Thanks so much for watching, everybody, and I will see you next time.